Hi, I'm Chris Martirano with American Music and Sound, here with my friends at Kraft Music. I'm going to show you the Nord Piano 2, a great instrument, fully weighted hammer action with graded hammers, great features. We'll get into the features in a moment. Make sure you check out Kraft Music for the great bundles. They'll put the right cases together, stands, pedals, everything you need to get the most out of your Nord product. The Nord Piano 2 features a beautiful playback section for piano and electroacoustic instruments featuring up to 500 megabytes of memory, and the user can go to Nord's library and download any of the pianos or electric pianos, clavinets, harpsichords that they wish in any combination and load up their 500 megabytes. There's also a separate synth engine that plays back samples built in, and you have up to 128 megabytes of sample memory. Again, there's library online. You can go and choose whether you want synthesizer classic sounds or whether you want Mellotron or Chamberlin sounds. And then in this instrument, you're able to layer or to split these combinations between piano and the sample playback engine. Then you have a beautiful effects section, equalizer, an amplifier modeling section, and then reverb. We're going to dig into the individual sections and see what they sound like. Nord recorded a beautiful piano in here that's called the Grand Imperial. It's beautiful. I'd like to play a little bit of it and feature some of the piano technology that Nord is now bringing to the forefront as a leader. They feature sympathetic string resonance that simulates the resonance of the enclosure of the piano. Then there's pedal noise. As you press down the damper pedal or the soft pedal, you can hear the dampers lift up, and you can hear a certain amount of the noise that would be captured when you're recording a piano. All of these details make for a very, very realistic sounding Grand. This is the Grand Imperial. So you just heard a little example in that performance of the sympathetic string resonance. I'll demonstrate that more closely right now. I'm going to press some keys down very lightly such that they don't make sound. Now they're fully depressed, and I'm going to strike notes that relate harmonically to the notes I'm holding, and we should hear some ringing, just as we would an acoustic instrument. Very cool thing is it's very realistic in that if I play notes that are not harmonically related, there shouldn't be any ringing. We're going to hear ringing just as in a true instrument. This is very, very cool and brings an element of realism while you're playing. This is also going on while you're using the damper pedal. The sympathetic string resonance they delivered in the Nord Piano, and in the Nord 2, they've improved it greatly. So the modeling has been greatly improved. The string resonance, I'm just going to demonstrate a little bit. As I step on the sustain pedal, you'll hear a kind of ringing introduced. You're also hearing some pedal noise. If I just solo it out. You can kind of hear the dampers being lifted up, and it's dynamic, it's velocity. So if I press it very gently, We don't hear this sudden burst, but if I'm a person that stamps on the pedal, I'm going to hear this. This is also active with the Tyne electric pianos, and you'll hear release noises also when we get to the clavinets that are also modeled. So I'm just going to show one of the other pianos, which I love in here. This one's called Lady D. I just have a small stage setting on it, very little bit of ambience. The rest of the ambience is coming when I step on the sustain pedal from the string resonance. Many different dynamic levels, and the long sustain that you hear when you're holding a note, no loops that you're hearing, shows a lot of attention to detail. This instrument for solo piano is beautiful. Of course, in an ensemble it sounds great as well, but when you bring it right out front and it's the only thing you're hearing, this is really a marvelous instrument, especially from a pianistic point of view. The graded hammer weight marries to the sound perfectly. You get the experience, the dynamics, the timbre that you expect. As you dig in, you hear what you're expecting to hear. I'd like to show one of the electroacoustic instruments now. This one is a CP70. This was a model that was made very, very popular in the 70s, still very, very popular now. And I'm going to use some of the live panel effects just to demonstrate how quick and easy it is. I'd like to show you now the Tyne electric piano. Again, as we mentioned earlier, there's 500 megabytes the user can load in this section in any combination of electric pianos, harpsichords, clavinets, and acoustic pianos that Nord provides on their site. These are free downloads to the user. I'm going to add a panner now. This gives us a wide stereo pan, very, very authentic. And I'm going to add a little bit of phaser, just very light phasing to the sound. Now I'm going to introduce a little bit of EQ and change the sound pretty dramatically. I'll roll some bass off, push a little middle up, and the mids, you have a sweepable mid, which is beautiful. I'll add a little bit of the maybe 2K range and a little bit of the high sparkle, and we get complete this, I might add compression, which they provide, which is great. This is one of 6 models that they're provided in factory memory. So I'll just go up to one of the other ones. You can hear how different they are. Very dyno kind of sound. Of course, a piano instrument, we've come to expect reed electric piano as well as a very staple and standard instrument. I'm just going to show one in here that's really fantastic. I'm going to put a tremolo on it, which is what it would have come with. And I'll put just a small room on it. No EQ, no compression. You're just hearing it pretty raw. Straight without the tremolo. Add some effects. Nord has quite a reputation for the finest clavinets as well. And these are really fantastic. They represent the full gamut of clavinet sounds you can get using these 4 different positions. They call them A, B, C, and D. They're actually different clavinet settings using the rocker switches that were found on the original panel. And they have some complementary switches that add to the clavinet to the position of the pickup, which the rocker switches also adjusted. So we'll just listen to some of these now. These are completely dry, no effects, no EQ. I love to add a triggered envelope. They call this auto wah. Here's one of 3 harpsichords Nord provides in the standard loading when they send it to you from the factory. We can dress these up and make them very contemporary, a little bit of chorusing. And I'm going to add a little bit of reverb. And just a very slow pan. Now we're going to investigate the sample playing section of the instrument. What's unique in this instrument that's beautiful is you can layer them or split them, which is nice, so you can get these complements of piano and synth pad, or piano and a string, mellotron kind of strings, or some combination of electric piano and some kind of synth sound together, either split or layered. So I'm just going to dig right into the sample player section, and we'll listen to some of the mellotron sounds. There are two knobs on the interface, one for attack, allowing us to adjust how fast the sound comes in. This is unique when applied to mellotron, which didn't have any control over envelope, attack or decay, or release. And then you have a release knob also. You have a separate volume for this section, and this section can respond to the CC pedal that I have plugged in right now. That will control only this level if you choose, and leave the piano level untouched. So here's some of the mellotron sounds, again with no attack or release adjusted. We can hear how each note stops, so I'll put a little more release. I'll change the attack. There's a huge library, and you can find the whole list up on Nord's site. Chamberlin, Mellotron, vintage analog synthesizers. I'll just quickly step through a few. The window display on here quickly tells us what we're looking at, which is great. This is 16 celli. This is Mark II rather, violins, string quartet, string orchestra. Here's the Chamberlin string sustain section. I'll add some release. Put it in a reverb hall. There are great octave shift buttons right for the synth section. So if I want to shift the octave, I can hold the shift button and quickly change octave. This is helpful when you're making a split or a layer. You may not want them always in the unison same tuning. I'm going to add our acoustic piano back in and make a combination. If I want to create a split, it's as easy as touching a single button. This one tells me that I'm making a split, and the split will place the piano to the left and the synth sound to the right. They have a second button. If I press right above it, the same button, a second press I should say, you then reverse the positions. You have synth and piano on the top. So now I have piano. Nord provides 400 different program slots that'll store these combinations for you, so you can put your sounds in the order that you want for your performances. Very, very handy for live performance. Thanks for watching this video on the Nord Piano 2. My name is Martirano, here with my good friends at Kraft Music. Be sure to check out Kraft Music for the great bundles with all the great accessories you can add onto the Nord piano, or speak with one of their product specialists. Thanks again.